Good morning, everyone. I hope you can see my screen. Can you all confirm if the screen is visible? Please confirm on chat. Okay, great. All right. So welcome everyone to this webinar on Prime Banking with TallyPrime 6.0. Yesterday we had our launch event, and guessing some of you might have been there, some of you might have missed it. So for those you have missed it or who want to see the features again in action, in this webinar we'll cover all of those features of Prime Banking, right? So just a quick agenda that we'll want to show. We are showing 4 features which are a part of the TallyPrime 6.0 Prime Banking story. We have automated accounting using bank statements, and this is a feature which is going to help you easily create multiple vouchers by simply importing your bank statement data into TallyPrime. Right, we have pre-configured support for 145 plus banks, and we'll talk about it in more detail as we go through the webinar. Then we have smart bank reconciliation. And this is a major enhancement and in fact a complete revamp of bank reconciliation on TallyPrime, with which you will be able to reconcile your bank statement entries directly in a click using smart matches with your book transactions. And again, over here you'll be able to simply do this by importing your bank statements and match transactions with your book transactions, right? Third is integrated payments and accounting. So this is the existing bulk payment facility, which e-payment facility that we have on TallyPrime. This has gone through a revamp, and we'll be showing you that. A lot of you may be unaware of this as well. So we will show you how this entire feature works. We have this supported for 16 plus banks, and the entire feature allows you to simply record your payment vouchers as you do in TallyPrime, and using that you can generate bulk payment instructions file, and then you can simply upload this file on your bank portal to execute multiple payments in a single click, right? And lastly, we have connected banking. If you have already seen this in our launch event yesterday, we have partnered with Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank, and the connected banking facility will allow you to connect your bank accounts with Tally to be able to access real-time bank balances and transactions. And this will help you with creation of your vouchers using the bank data, or also reconcile your transactions directly within TallyPrime, right? Okay, so having said that, let's move into the first feature of automated accounting using bank statements. So just before we get into that, I think there's a lot of bank transactions that nearly make up almost like 30 to 50% of your transactions on Tally, right? Depending on how your business is, right? But still, most businesses are using some tools, or they're doing this manually, and even especially like accountants and CAs, right? At the end of the period, businesses come to them and they tell them, please do my end of the period accounting, and they will share their bank statements, right? So with TallyPrime 6.0, all this manual work and the using of different tools, that goes away. You can do this in simple steps. All you need to do is import your bank statements, and we are supporting 145 plus banks. There is a list of supported banks. Shankar sir, you can also share the links of the list of supported banks in the chat. Maybe it will help our webinar participants today. So once you are able to import these bank statements into TallyPrime, you will be able to map the ledgers to the transactions of from your bank statements in one go. And what this will do is this will auto create the vouchers with all the bank details which is coming in from your bank statement data, right? So there's no need to fill in all the details like your instrument number, your amounts, your instrument dates, your narrations. All of that will be pre-filled in your accounting vouchers without any effort at all, right? And we'll again see that all these features in action. So now that we've covered an overview, let's get into the demo. Please let me know if you can see my screen, TallyPrime. Is my screen visible? Okay,
yes,
great.
Murali, it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, so to import a bank statement, it's as easy as just simply going into the top menu, import, and then pressing bank statement. Okay. And from here, what you'll be doing is you'll be selecting your bank ledger. In this case, I have 4. I'll just select Kotak, right? And then I can specify the file path and then import the bank statement for Kotak, right? So I'll just select that, and then let me also enable the preview so that we can see what that looks like. So once I accept this, and again, I just want to take a moment here. So no matter what your structure is, right? Different banks come up with different structures, and sometimes the column name is different, sometimes the column ordering is different, right? But in TallyPrime, once your statement is imported, it will always look consistently the same, which means that your particulars will be will capture the narrations, the instrument number will be extracted, and then you will have your amounts as withdrawals or deposits, and you'll also have your dates, right? And this is a intermediate screen where you can see the preview of what your transactions look like, and from here you can simply press I import, right? Once you do this, you'll get a summary, and the summary will show you the number of entries that you have imported successfully. So in this case, I have imported 52 entries for the period statement period of 1st October to 30th October, right? And now from here, let's view the transactions. How do we do that? Is we can simply press S, or we can click this button, S Bank Reconciliation Summary. Okay, so once I've done that, I will land into the bank reconciliation summary. So this is a new report that we have built in TallyPrime 6.0. We have many such more reporting experiences in TallyPrime 6.0, and we'll talk about this as we proceed in the webinar. But for now, let's try and look at the transactions. So let's get into the current period, and the current period is based on because I have come from the summary, right? And the summary was for 1st October to 30th October. And from here, now I can drill down into all unreconciled transactions. And here you can see that all your 52 transactions which you had imported, right? They are listed here in blue color. So this means that all your banking entries are saved in your company data, right? Banking entries from your statement as in your company data. Now we need to account for these bank statement entries, right? And TallyPrime 6.0 allows exactly for that. All you need to do is you just need to select transactions, right? And then you need to just press create voucher, F7, create voucher, multi-voucher, right? And when I do that, what you'll see is the multi-voucher creation screen, right? And in this, under particulars, you'll see all the narrations. And based on these narrations, you can specify the ledger name. So let's say in this case, I have Logitech over here. I can enter Logitech. Similarly, Square Realtors, here it is. Ganesh G, this is Mobile Bazaar, and this is Accord Distillers, right? And once this is done, at the end, I can simply accept. Okay, so now what has happened is I have been able to very easily create optional vouchers, and these optional vouchers are also linked with all the bank data. So first step is when we imported the bank statement, we had the bank data which was already there in my company data, right? Now that bank data is now also linked to the vouchers that we have created right now. And if you'll see the black transactions, that is the vouchers also have the instrument number, instrument date, deposit, like the amount, right? All of this is automatically copied directly from your bank statement entry. And you'll also notice that the voucher type, receipt or payment, this is created based on whether it's a deposit or a withdrawal. So if it's a withdrawal, it is payment. If it's receipt, if it's deposit, it is a receipt, right? And if, let's say, if you have a if you map it to a ledger, which is, let's say, a bank ledger or a cash ledger, in that case, we can also have the flexibility to map it directly as a contra voucher type, right? So we have all that flexibility, and I'll talk about those flexibilities later, subsequently. Yeah, you'll be able to create optional vouchers, and this intermediate step, it will allow you to basically also enrich the vouchers. If you want to put in any bill-wise details, all of that, you can put that, right? Or if you want to simply proceed, you can press R, mark as regular, and reconcile, right? And in just one click, I have been able to account for all these transactions. So I had some 52 transactions, it has become 47, right? Now, how does this solution become powerful, right? We have a lot of transactions which are repetitive, or they may follow a pattern, right? So let's take, for example, if you are a B2C business and you have a lot of UPI transactions which come in from your UPI post sales channel, right? So what you can do is you can simply filter such transactions, right? And you can press apply filter, and then let's say based on some keyword like UPI, you enter that, and you'll be able to see all the UPI transactions which are filtered in this report. And from here, you can select all by pressing Control space and then press F7, right? Now, again, you will enter the multi-voucher screen. But now I know that I'm looking at UPI transactions, receipt transactions specifically, right? And I may want to mark them all as sales, right? Cash sales or something. So I don't need to do this for each entry. What I can do is I can simply specify a common ledger. So I just press backspace and I will see at the top common ledger, and I can specify, let's say, cash sales. And what you'll see is all the transactions which I have filtered, the cash sales ledger is applied. And if I want to also alter any one specific one, let's say along with this there was something else also which is there, I can alter that as well, right? And from here I can just press Control to accept, and all the optional vouchers are created. And then to regularize and reconcile them, I can press R, or I can click this button, and you'll see I press yes to confirm, and all my filtered transactions which are there, they got accounted for. Similarly, if again, there is a lot of accountants when they have to do this accounting work based on bank statements. If your client has a lot of bank charges that they're incurring on their payments, right, and it is reflecting in their accounts, right, you can repeat the process for such transactions. So let's say I have bank charges, right? You can simply filter those bank charges. You can select all of them, and you also have the flexibility to, let's say, if you do not want to create individual transactions, you want to post a consolidated accounting voucher. So simply you can press Alt F7, or you can just click this button here and use the create voucher consolidate option. So when you do this, what will happen is a voucher screen will open, and then when you specify the let's say in this case bank charges, right, the amount that will get captured will be a total of based on whatever transactions you have selected for creating the consolidated voucher. And once this is done, you can simply press Control A to accept, and all those bank transactions are also accounted for, right? So this is how you can speed up your accounting using this feature, right? And once all your accounting is complete, you can also review all your transactions from the view reconciled report. So you can just press escape, and you can press this button in the right from the bank reconciliation summary, F5 view reconciled, and from here you can drill down into a specific month to be able to see your transactions which are created, right, and linked. So you'll see all the bank transactions and you'll see the book transactions which is linked to it, right? And like I said, right, that you will be able to create consolidate entries. So this makes it very useful when you want to do MS to N linking, right? Basically link one transactions or multiple transactions to one or multiple transactions. So you have all such sorts of flexibility in terms of accounting for your banking transactions, right? And from anywhere in Tally, if you want to, let's say, review, right, a particular voucher and whether it is accounted for, whether the banking transaction has happened for it, or whether it's reconciled, you can simply drill down into that voucher from any report in Tally. And then once you get into the bank allocation, you will be able to see this view recon info button on the right, Alt V. You can simply press that and you'll be able to see the linked bank entry, right? And you'll be also able to see the reconciliation status, whether it's reconciled via linking, right? So that's how this feature becomes very useful, very easy to use for accountants and CAs, right? Because you'll be able to speed up your accounting, and also you'll be able to at the end view all your linked entries. And once all the linked entries are done, right, at any time when you want to review them, or let's say someone else is reviewing it, an owner is reviewing it, even though the accounting may be done by someone else, they will be able to see the particular transactions at any point in time. So there's complete transparency also, right? So yeah, I'll pause over here and we can take a few questions. So that
Murali, there is one question.
yeah.
If you're not selecting pending invoices, for example, if the bills are not tracked, not selecting the bills tracked in the automated entries, I think that should be possible when you are creating the automated entries. Once you select the ledger and select the relevant bills for tracking, right? The question
Select
is,
yeah.
they wanted to select the relevant pending bills during the
Bills.
automated entries.
Yes. So you can, so like I showed you, there's an intermediate step, right? And let me just show you how that can be done. So let's get into, again, banking activities, and let's get into Kotak. And from here, let's say when you are creating multiple transactions, in this case, let me just take two, right? And then when you create, right, let's say I have specified the entries and I accept. At this point, if you want to now knock off any bills, right, what you can do is you can get into the voucher, and then at this step, you can simply specify your bill details, right? Whether it's against reference, new, or any new reference. So those kind of changes can be made.
Yeah, I think there is one more question from Mr. Srivastava. Vatsa. Is there a way to link the various receipts and payments to the sales and purchase invoice during the reconciliation?
Sales and purchase invoice. So you'll be able to link bills, right? Invoices.
No, is this, I think if the question is like if it is related to the reference, the way how Mr. Murali has showed, we can track those bills. If it is only
Right,
sales and
exactly.
purchase vouchers, then that needs to be checked actually.
Right.
There is one more
So you
question.
can do it
Can
via
we?
your bill reference.
Yeah. So can we NEFT directly from Tally to vendor payment? This actually, except DBS, we have provided online. The other 16 plus banks, what Murali has told, that can be, you have to generate an offline payment request, and then that has to be imported in the bank portal, and then you have to authenticate. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Shailesh.
Yeah, and we'll also show that that when we get to that part of the webinar, we'll show that
Yeah,
feature in
sure,
action,
sure. Yeah.
right?
And there
So
is
I
one
think
more
what,
question.
yeah,
Sorry,
yes,
Murali. There is one more question from Sahaji Jadhav. Sir, if I have a PDF from bank and I convert it into CSV format, Mr. Sahasi, currently we are not supporting the PDF. The supported formats of auto bank reconciliation would be Excel and CSV. Better you can download the CSV format and then you can use it for the importing of bank statements. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Sahaji. Yeah, you can continue, Murli.
yeah. So regarding this particular question, right, on the bank statement format. So yes, like Shankar sir just mentioned that we are not supporting PDF, but on the Tally Solutions Help website, right, we have this particular page. I hope you can see this on the screen. So over here, you'll see that we have the list of supported banks. And under this, you will see that there is all the list of supported banks for reconciliation. So all of these are supported for importing your bank statements. And you'll be surprised to see that even the smallest banks, right, they provide bank statements in Excel or CSV formats, right? So even like small finance banks and if there are any some smaller cooperative banks, right? Even we support those as well. And in case, yeah, just in case, if you are importing your bank statement right into Tally, and in case it is not supported, right, then you can simply reach out to TallyCare and we'll configure it for you. So it will not take much time. In a few days' time, it will be configured, and you will be able to import your bank statements as usual. So and why I'm also mentioning is this is because you may not get it directly, right? Usually your bank will send you a PDF, right? But often from your bank portal, right, you will be able to download it in Excel or CSV formats. And sometimes it may so happen that we may have configured it for, let's say, the statement format, which is downloaded from the net banking portal. But the mobile banking portal format might be slightly different, right? So hence it may not work. So that is not, there's no need to worry over that. You can simply reach out to us and we'll configure that as well. So next time, any other person also, if they are trying to import from a Excel or CSV statement from a different channel for your bank, they will be able to use it, right, without any issues, right? Okay, so with that said, I think let's get back into the resume with the flow. So the next feature that we have is smart bank reconciliation, right? So this is slightly different case, right? We have a lot of businesses who already do their accounting, right? And in Tally, and uh, later on, what they do is they need to reconcile the transactions in their books with the bank entries to make sure that all the amounts and the entries are accounted for, right? And this can be very tedious and can take a lot of time. Usually we see that, we have seen that what they do is they print out a bank statement and then they look for that entry in Tally, and then after that they enter the bank date. I think the release prior to 6.0 had that facility have where you can enter the bank date. We still have it. You can do it that way as well, but usually businesses do that way, right? Have been doing that way. And then again, after that is done, you take off the entry in the printout, and if there is an error, then it becomes very tough to figure out where that error has happened. And usually when something like that happens, it may lead to rework also, right? So in TallyPrime 6.0, you just need to import your bank statement like I had shown you earlier. And once that is done, Tally will identify smart matches based on instrument number and amount. So you can review those transactions and simply reconcile them. And in addition to that, if you can alternatively configure your bank ledger to auto reconcile also. So let's say once you import your bank statement, you don't even need to review the exact matches. You can simply they will automatically get reconciled, right? And lastly, once everything is reconciled, you can always review your linked book and bank transactions, right? So so let's see the solution in action, right? I'll go back into Tally. Give me a second here. Yeah. And you'll see that we have HDFC Bank, right? And as a part of this entire reconciliation revamp, right, we have restructured the reports. We have come up with new reports. So in the banking menu from Gateway of Tally, right, once I enter banking from Gateway of Tally, I see banking activities under reconciliation and e-payments. So what this report does is it gives you a view of all your pending banking related actions, right, related to payments and reconciliation. And we'll talk about payments in a bit, since we are talking about we are showcasing bank reconciliation right now. Let's talk about bank reconciliation. So from here, you'll be able to track all your transactions, which are available only in books, available only in banks. There are some options over here which are provided. You can always make it into an amount view also to see the pending reconciliation or payments from an amount point of view. Or if you want to even change the view, let's say if you want to not look at it from a books and bank perspective, you can always go and see deposit and withdrawals. So all of those flexibilities are there, right? Now, this is that consolidated report where you'll see everything pending. Now, for those businesses who have already been using bank reconciliation on TallyPrime's prior versions like 5.1 and prior, in that case, if you want to switch to this particular feature of auto reconciling using bank statements, all you need to do is complete all your accounting, all your bank reconciliation up to a certain period, and from that period onwards, you can import your bank statement entries, right? That way it will be a very clean transition into auto bank reconciliation, right? And for those who are going to do this for the first time, bank reconciliation on Tally for the first time, all you need to do is you can go into opening BRS from either from this report or the bank ledger. So I'll show you from here in the banking activities. You can press Alt H or this button here on the right. You can select your bank ledger, and then you can set the reconciliation beginning date, right? And once you set the reconciliation beginning date, you can start reconciling your books from that point of time. If you have any pending transactions prior to that, and if you have not already accounted for, what you can do is you can always update the opening BRS. So you can just click this button and you'll be able to enter all your opening BRS entries, right? So this is a quick setup before we get into it. But now that you can see for HDFC, I already have 35 transactions in my books. So let's reconcile this. So what I can do is I can simply import the bank statement like I already did earlier for Kotak. This time it will be HDFC. I can select the particular bank statement which I have downloaded, and then I can, let's see the preview again this time. So earlier it was Kotak, this time it is HDFC, but you see in Tally it is a same standard format, right? All your narrations are under particulars, dates, instrument numbers, withdrawals, deposits, right? Now from here you can import, and now you'll see this time the summary looks a little different. So last time it was statement entries imported successfully. Only this line was there because I had not created any accounting vouchers. This time accounting vouchers are already there. So what TallyPrime has done is it has identified exact matches, right? So you can see that on importing this statement itself, some exact matches have been identified. Now let's go into let's escape, press escape this time, and you'll see your banking activities report has also been updated. So we had 35 and we didn't have any transactions here. Now you have transactions here as well, the 23 transactions which we have just imported from the statement. So let's drill down into this, and from unreconciled transactions, we can simply drill down and you'll see under the header exact matches. There are book transactions linked with bank transactions, and this is based on amount and instrument number matches, unique amount and instrument number matches, right? And what you can do is now from here you can simply hold down shift and you can press the down arrow key. So you'll be able to quickly review all your transactions as you can verify the instrument numbers and amounts, right? And as that happens, once at the end, you can simply press F8 reconcile here on the right. and just in one click you'll be able to reconcile all your exact matches, right? And like I already had mentioned, if you want to configure your bank ledger to auto reconcile such exact matches identified, so in that case what will happen is, in the summary that you saw, right, where exact matches, it was showing a count of 13, it will show directly as reconciled, and you'll be able to view them in the view reconcile report which I had shown earlier, right? So now there are some 22 transactions in books and 10 transactions in the bank, right? Now this is still pending to be reconciled. So do I have to go through each of these manually, figure out which one is matches with which? No, I don't need to do that. So with TallyPrime 6.0, we have something called potential matches. So here in the right hand menu, you will see Alt S. You can press that, and you'll be able to see certain criteria: unique amount matches, unique instrument number matches, right? And this is based on this criteria, TallyPrime has highlighted a possible or a potential match for a book transaction against the bank statement entry which has just been imported, right? So in this case it's a unique amount match, so because the amounts match, right, the instrument numbers do not match. In this case there is a unique instrument number match, right? And hence you'll see that these matches are there over here, right? And how do we reconcile them? We can simply select a particular transaction, and we can select multiple also, right? If as in if you want to review the others also, and you can press reconcile, right? And further, like similarly, just like these two rules that we are seeing over here, we have more such predefined rules too, which you can enable and disable. And in addition to that, you can also configure or further adjust these rules. So let's say if you have some rounding of differences, right? What happens in that case is, you will let's say your bank may have some may apply some bank charges, right, in the transaction itself. So there are two behaviors. Sometimes some banks, what they do is they will give you an added entry, right? And sometimes some banks, what they do is they will add that particular amount in your transaction itself, right? Let's say if you posted a transaction of 30,000, they will your final entry in the statement will be 30,050, right? So something like that, you can if you want to address, you can ignore the difference in amount for potential matches. And similarly, there are other rules also. You have find potential matches within. What this helps is that, let's say if you have a difference in the dates, right? So when you're trying to identify matches, it will help you do that. So what will happen is, let's say if you have posted a check on a certain date, right, and you have accounted for it, now you send that check, and your vendor has realized that check after, let's say, 15 days, right? So in those cases, the potential, and if you've specified the days within as, let's say, 10, the potential match may not be highlighted. But if you want to widen the search, you can make it, let's say, 15 or 30, and such a transaction, even in case the date is different, it will show as a potential match, right? So similarly, like this, you can identify more such matches by further tweaking the rules, and then you can clear out the transactions, right? Now let's look at, there are more ways of reviewing your transactions. So like potential matches, exact matches, right? This will, in most cases, 80 to 90% of your transactions should be reconciled, right? By easily identifying the matches. But what about the others? So for that, we have something called find matches. You can actually take any transactions from either from the book side or the bank side. So let's look at it slightly differently. Let's look at it from the bank side, right? So let's take one bank transaction, and what you need to do is, to find a match, you just need to press F8 reconcile, right? And this will open the find match view, and you can see on the top the transaction for which you are looking for matches, that is highlighted on top, right? And there is a current difference of 30,050, so you do not have a match for this. So if there is a potential match at the bottom, it will highlight that. If there is no potential match, you can always look for it below. And again, while it may look like, oh, I need to go through all of this transactions, no, you don't. You can simply apply filters on this as well, right? So let's say in this case, I have CIEDS, so maybe it points to a certain vendor of mine, right? And I can just, let's say, filter that keyword that I'm looking for, and I find that transaction, right? So I can simply take that transaction and then press F9 add here on the right, and this transaction will move up. So now that difference of 30,050 that we had, it has come down to 50 rupees only. So which means that I still need to account for this, or I may need to look for a match for this. Now, if I do not have a match right here, then I can always create a voucher on the go. So in this case, there is a difference of 50, right? And all I need to do is press create voucher, and then I can specify, let's say in this case, it was bank charges, right? I can specify bank charges and I can put in the amount as 50 and accept. And now you'll see the difference is gone away, right? So this is how you can review, find such matches. And then even if there are certain gaps, you can adjust those differences and then simply press R reconcile to reconcile such entries, right? And once this is done, you'll be able to review all your transactions, reconcile transactions in the view reconcile report. Earlier, I already showed you, you can go into the bank reconciliation summary, press view reconcile. Alternatively, you can also from the bank reconciliation report, you can directly go into change view and then see your reconcile transactions, right? And here you'll see all your linked transactions. So in addition to this, what you'll also be able to do is you'll be able to, as I already mentioned, view any report, right? And from that report, you can drill down into the voucher. So let's say if you are looking at the ledger voucher report, right? You can, let's go there and let's select HDFC, right? And you can, let's say, get into this transaction and view reconciliation info. So you'll see the entire link. I entered one voucher, but I'm seeing all the other vouchers also which are linked to it and the bank statement entry. So that's how it gives you flexibility in terms of reviewing the transactions, right? So I'll again pause over here for some questions.
Murli, there is one question. How to configure Kotak Bank? Please show it.
Sure. So I think that's a great question. While I was planning to show towards the end of this, and this is applicable to both your whether you are creating your vouchers using bank statements or whether you are wanting to reconcile transactions by importing bank statements. What you need to do is when in your bank ledger, right? One second, in your bank ledger, right? You can simply go get in, enter, and then you need to specify the bank name, right? You see the one which is highlighted, so it will open up this list of banks and you'll need to select something from here. So you can't leave this empty, nor can you specify any if you specify a custom one, we won't be able to identify whether it's the actual Axis Bank or not, right? So you'll need to choose the one from this list. Once you do this, then your bank ledger is basically configured to handle any statement import for that particular bank, right? In the supported formats, of course. Any questions?
Yeah, there is one more question. Like, can we NEFT, NEFT directly from Tally to vendor payment for Kotak Bank? So basically, it is like e-payment.
Okay, yeah. While you can generate a bulk payment instructions file, right? You can upload that onto your bank portal. So additionally, if you're asking for something whether it can happen automatically or not as soon as you export it, so your bank will also sometimes provide a facility that when you're exporting this file, right, you can drop it in a folder which the bank itself will pick up, right? Certain implementation, so the bank itself will do that implementation. So all you need to again do is you need to tell them that I'm using Tally and I want to make payments. So I want to enable the bulk payment facility, right? So when they do that, at that time, when as a part of your entire enabling on from the Kotak side, they will ask you certain questions like how do you want to configure this and on. At that point, you can specify that maybe a specific folder from which you have such kind of preferences, right? Those kind of things can also be done.
Yeah,
But
there
from
is
Tally,
one
what
last.
we allow is, yeah, from Tally, just to add, from Tally, what we allow is we allow you to export that payment instructions file in the bank specific format. So once that is done, whether you are uploading it yourself or whether it is getting picked up or you're pushing it to the bank portal, it will be read by your bank because it's the bank supported format. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is
Next
an
question.
ask from customer. Please repeat the process of how to add a voucher in the reconciliation using the backend.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I can do that again. So let's take another example. 1 second. So let's get into banking activities, and let's look at our unreconciled transactions, right? So let's say for this transaction, I want to find a match, right? And in this case, let's say, so earlier I had shown you how to apply a filter, right? So you can either apply a filter or you can also take a transaction from here, right? And you can simply press add. And if there is a difference, right, then you can create a voucher, right? So you can, in this case, I can simply press F7, right? And then I can put in bank charges, right? And then you have created that voucher. And once that is done, you can press reconcile. You can do this like multiple times. So let's say I want to create 3 vouchers also, you can do that. You can want to create 1 payment voucher, 2 receipt vouchers, you can do all that. So all that flexibility is there because when you open that create voucher mode, it will be a voucher creation screen, which you anyway see, right? And here you can change all of those things. And once that is done, once you have narrowed the difference to 0, then you can simply press reconcile. Yeah. Okay, so few other things I will just cover because I had spoken about it, but I had not shown, right? So one is the auto reconciliation configuration. So if you go into your ledger, right, and let's see for Kotak or HDFC Bank, right? Since we were doing the reconciliation for HDFC, let's look at HDFC. So what you can do is you can get into set alter bank configuration, right? And you can press yes over here. And once you've done this, you will be able to see the bank configuration for reconciliation, right? And from here, you can press yes. And here, under exact matches configuration, you will be able to specify whether you want to reconcile transactions, auto reconcile exact matches, or you want to keep it as no. Currently, it was kept as no. That's why we were able to see exact matches. If this is yes, the summary will show reconcile. And when you go into the bank reconciliation report, you won't find those transactions there. You'll directly find them in the view reconciled report, right? Additionally, you have the flexibility to identify these exact matches either while importing the statement only, or if you want, while importing the statement or while even saving a voucher. So let's say you've already imported the statement. Now you're creating vouchers, right? And when you're creating vouchers, you want them to be auto reconciled, right? If there is a match in your statement. So you have the flexibility to even specify that from this. So that is regarding the auto reconciliation configuration. Now let's talk about the configuration for creating vouchers, the default vouchers from bank statements. So if I had mentioned that you can specify the default vouchers. So for deposits, it's going to be receipts. For withdrawals, it's going to be payments. What you can also do is you can specify anything else. So let's say if you are doing journal entries, you want to do it that way, you can do that. If you want to create any custom vouchers, you can, if you have that, you can specify those, or you can create from here and then specify those. If you have any specific voucher numbering series for a particular bank ledger, so let's say if you want to keep your voucher series for HDFC Bank as for all your receipt transactions, receipt HDFC 001 or something like that, right? So then you can specify the voucher numbering series accordingly, right? So so those kind of flexibilities are also there. So each bank will have its own separate voucher uh, uh, creation configuration, right? And lastly, just a recap again, while I had shown that you can set the reconciliation beginning date or set the opening or altering the opening BRS from your banking activities report, in your bank ledger also, like I had mentioned, you can enter the bank configuration, and then from here you can specify the recon beginning date, or you can also set any or alter any opening BRS transactions. Okay, so let's proceed to the next section. This we have already covered, and we have integrated payments and accounting, right? So I think someone has been asking about making payments, right? NEFT payments. So what happens currently is that you are recording payment transactions in Tally, and then you are making sure whether they are executed on the portal. Or it could be that you're already executed, or one by one it has taken a lot of time, and now you're recording those entries, right? And then after that, when you're recording the entries, you're trying to make sure whether actually the payment has happened or not. You're trying to track whether the status is correctly there or not, whether the instrument number, like your UTR number, which you get for your NEFT transactions or RTGS transactions, whether that is there or not, right? So this becomes where, like, you have to keep constantly checking different platforms. If you are 3 banks, then you have to do it for all 3 banks multiple times, log into the portal, then check whether payment has happened, right? So all of that takes a lot of time. So with TallyPrime 6.0, you can just simply record your payments like you do. You record all your payment vouchers, and then you can export all the payment vouchers in one go as a payment instructions file. Okay, and this you can upload to your bank. And and these payment instructions file, they are in bank specific formats. So each bank will have its own format, and that will make sure that it works correctly with your bank. Once it's uploaded uh, on your bank portal, it can be simply approved and executed, right? And once that is done, your bank will give you a payment reverse file, right? So typically some banks also do this, that what they do is they send you a payment reverse file to your email on a daily basis. So you don't even need to go to your bank portal anymore. What will happen is you'll receive a file, and you can simply say that, okay, I want to import it in Tally, or tell someone to import that particular payment reverse file in Tally, and automatically all the payment details, like the payment status, the UTR number, the reference numbers, whatever are there, they will get updated in the same transactions, right? The payment transactions directly. So no need to manually match which transaction is which one, right? It will take it based on the unique references, and it will update, right? And then lastly, once all your payments are, when you can see and track in Tally clearly that a certain payment is processed and it's successful, then you can send out payment advices via WhatsApp or via email, right, to notify your suppliers, vendors, your beneficiaries that the payment is actually done. And this again is supported for 16 banks. I will again reshare the list of supported banks. So this was for statement import, which was reconciliation and voucher creation. This is for e-payments. So you can see here the list of banks which are supported for payments, right? Okay, so let's get into the in the product and see how this works. So let's just create a voucher. right? And in this case, let's do this for HDFC Bank, right? And I can just specify the ledger name and then let's say the amount. If I want to specify any bill-wise details, I can knock off bills or I can make it on account. And once I'm in the bank allocation screen, you'll see that the account number, the IFS code, all of these details are pre-filled from the party's ledger, right? Party ledger bank details. So you don't need to even specify this every time. Once you have specified in your party ledger, the bank details, when you are recording the payment entry, all these details will be pre-filled. If you have multiple details, you can also specify multiple details, and then later on you can come here to under ref ID and you can alter it, right? So let's say in this case I had ICICI, assume that there was another one, maybe I had stored it as HDFC or Axis or something else, whatever the party's bank account is, right? I can specify that, and then I can proceed and accept the voucher, right? So it's as simple as that. So this is how your normal accounting happens, right? And once when I want to send the payments from any report in Tally, right, I can review all my pending payments. All I need to do is, let's assume that you are in a outstanding report, right, or in your day book. At the end of the day, you want to see what are all his pending payments. You can simply go into Exchange and press Send Payments, and it will show the ledgers for which there are any pending payments, and you can drill down and you can review all the pending payment transactions, right? And you can select one or more, and in this case, let's say I select multiple transactions, right? And I can simply press export, and I will get an option to further configure this if I want to, just in case, specify a different path which I've already specified. Instead of that, something else, I can do that, or I can simply press confirm, export to confirm. So what will happen is you'll see this, there is a message that you get that it is exported as this particular file in this path. So you can now take this particular file and upload to your bank portal. Okay, so it becomes as simple as that, like multiple payments which we have right now over here, right? We have just simply exported them, and now that file can be uploaded. So let's assume that you have uploaded this particular file on the bank portal. Now you want to track these payments, right? So we'll talk about the e-payment report. So under banking activities, from the banking menu, you can get into the e-payments report by drilling down from the e-payments column. So earlier you may have seen certain transactions which are pending for sending to bank. Now they are sent to bank, but they're unreconciled, right? So you can track all your transactions by drilling down, and this is the summary. So in currently you can see transactions, all the transactions are in progress, but essentially this report has a lot of other details where you can see transactions at different steps also, right? So what you will be able to see is, let's say I'll accept this, and you'll be able to see all the transactions, let's say whether they are successful, unsuccessful, whether they're ready to sending to bank, or let's say when you have recorded the transactions before sending to bank, if there were any exceptions in it. So we saw that Abhinesh, we recorded a voucher for Abhinesh, right? And we just took the bank details as is. Let's say if I added some other details or I changed the details, right? So then in that case, this mismatch with in bank details will highlight that some details have been altered, right? Maybe the data entry person has recorded the voucher by mistake, made a entered some incorrect banking information, right? So it will get highlighted over here, and you can then review it, and you can then send it, right? So you have that gives you that flexibility to be able to review any mismatches, and then either accept them as is or you can alter them, right? If you have any incomplete transaction details, so let's say you forgot to enter some account number in the party bank ledger itself, right? And you accepted the voucher. Now this particular bucket will tell you if there are any incomplete details, because without a bank account number you cannot make a transfer, right? And similarly, if you have any incomplete or incorrect details in your bank ledger itself. So let's say if your bank ledger, you have provided an IFSC code which is incomplete, right? So it will highlight that, okay, it's not in the right format or something, or the format is incorrect. So all those kind of scenarios will get caught over here. So you're rest assured that before your payments are ready, right, all these exceptions are already resolved for, right? Now let's review the transactions which we have sent, right, which we have exported. And now when you want to update these transactions, remember the payment reverse file which I had mentioned. So that payment reverse file, you can now simply import it into Tally when you get it from your bank, and by pressing Alt-O import from the top menu while you're in this report. So you'll get this option of payment reverse file, and it's very simple. Again, you just need to specify that file where you have saved it in your system. And once you have done that, these transactions, they will be updated. The status will become as received from your particular bank, and we have standardized the statuses. So let's say if in your bank it will say successful, or it will say it'll give you a code called PRO, but you don't know what that means. We will map it. We have mapped it already, and it will show you as processed, right? And it will come under the bucket successful, right? And if it is unsuccessful, whether it's rejected by approver or anything else, right, it will show as that once you have imported the payment reverse file. In addition to that, if there's any instrument number, right, which is your final reference number that you have received from the main NEFT network or the RTGS network, right, those will also be updated basis your payment reverse file that you have imported. So what this helps with is, once you have done this, your accounts are updated, and when you want to do your reconciliation, all you need to do is import your bank statement, and it will automatically identify exact matches, right? Because instrument number is there, amount is also there, and instrument number amount combinations are unique, right? So based on that, it will be able to say that yes, there's an exact match highlighted for reconciliation, or if you have already configured for auto reconciliation, it will get automatically reconciled. So that makes everything very smooth. It makes it accurate and like error free, basically. Right, so I will pause over here, and again I'll open up the floor for some questions.
Yeah, there is one question. So how to adjust payment against bill numbers?
Yeah, so let's say if you are here, right, again in this case you can see the for Nile Apparel there is this payment entry, and against I have provided a bill reference over here. So you can specify the bill wise details in the voucher itself. Okay, so I think we are a little short on time. What I'll do is I'll quickly get back into the next flow. Let's cover our final topic for the day, which is connected banking. So a lot of you have different accounts, right? And your business accounts are in different banks also, right? And what happens is you need to get the data from each bank. You need to find out the balance. So what you are doing, you are logging into one portal sometimes, check what the balance is. Then again, someone wants the bank statement. Again, you're going to that bank. Then next time someone else is asking for another bank statement, you're going into that bank. So this happens. You need to do this login multiple times. You also need to get the statement at the right time. Then you have to remember whether the statement was imported last time, which one did I share, right? So all that friction goes away with connected banking. So with connected banking, you can have one secure login using your tally.net ID, and with that you can manage multiple bank accounts, right? And once you have done this, you have enabled connected banking and linked your bank accounts, you will be able to instantly get access within Tally to your bank balance in real time and bank statements as well, right? And this will help you do your accounting. You can also reconcile your books. So this overall makes the entire experience very easy, very friction free, no problem at all. And like I already mentioned, we are live with Axis Bank and Kotak and more banks we are working on, and they will be there soon. Right. So let's go into and see what this quickly looks like. Let's go back into TallyPrime. I'll just make sure that everything is reset so that I can show you from the beginning. So from gateway of Tally or anywhere in the product, you can simply go into Alt Z Exchange, and under all banking options, you'll see login and logout, right? So here you can provide the Tally.net ID, which is linked to your license, right? So let's say I provide that, and then from here you can provide the password. And once you have provided the password, you will be shown the welcome to connected banking screen. As I already mentioned, we have two banks supported, Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank, right? Here, what you're doing is you're doing step one, which is enabling connected banking for your Tally.net ID. So for that, what you need to do is you need to provide your mobile number, which I'm just doing right now. And then you can also review the terms and conditions privacy policy, right? So when I press yes, I will be redirected. So I'll just reshare the screen. I have been taken to this particular page from Tally directly, and you can review the terms and conditions, right? And then you can review the privacy policy, right? And once you are done with this, then you can return back into Tally and then accept this. And to make this entire solution secure, we have two-factor authentication via OTP on your registered mobile number. Once you receive that, you can enter that OTP, and then your step one is complete, right? You have been able to enable yourself, your Tally.net ID on connected banking. Now the next step is to connect your bank accounts. So for that, you can get into the bank connections report easily directly from this step itself. If you, let's say if you have done your login enabled before, but now you have some time, you're not connected your bank accounts yet, and now you are looking for this screen, how do you get there? You can get into this by pressing Alt Z Exchange, all banking options, and then press the bank connections report. Right now it's grayed out because I'm already there on the report, but you can press this last option to be able to access the same report. Now in this case, two bank accounts, you can see they are already connected, Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank, right? And this is a demo account, so hence you're seeing that it's already connected. But as a part of this webinar, what we'll do is we'll show you how you can do this for a new bank account. So simply you can press F6 new connection, and you can select the bank. So let's say in this case I select Axis Bank, and you will see the connect to bank screen. So here the steps are listed in terms of what you need to do to be able to connect your bank account, right? And if you do not want to read the steps or have trouble following or having trouble following, what you can do is you can simply press I, right, which is this icon here, and it will show you to know more about this process. Follow on the bank portal, you can press this button, right? And what it will do is you will get redirected again from Tally to the help page, right? So you'll get redirected, and directly it will show you the video that you can watch for Axis Bank, right? And it'll tell you all the steps. So let's say once you've watched this, you are very thorough that okay, although the steps are very simple, and we'll see some of those. I have screens for that. But you can once you're done watching the video, you can always come back into TallyPrime, right? And then from here you can press connect, right? Once you press connect, again you will be redirected to your bank portal. So in this case, I've been redirected. I'll just reshare the screen for here. This is the screen which is opened up, right? So I can enter the credentials here and proceed. So what I'll do is I'll instead show you the steps which I have in the PPT, right? So what you'll need to do is, let's say, so there are different types of accounts. So I'm showing you for corporate single user account right now. So you'll get the login credentials page, and you can, once you have entered that, you'll get an OTP from your bank, right? Once you enter that, you can accept the terms and conditions which your bank is giving, and once that is done, you will get a message, right? So steps may slightly vary if it is a multi-user account. In terms of this, it will be mostly the same, but your approver will have to approve your access, right? So such variations will be there. For a retail one, it's going to be the same again, because they are anyway single user, right? And for access, this is supported for current accounts only. So let's get back into Tally and see that once you have completed the journey on your bank and you get that message, when you press S, refresh status, you'll get a final message saying that your connection with the bank is successful. Once that is done, you will see something like this, basically the banks which are connected. And in addition, if you press shift enter, you'll be able to see the linked account number and the bank ledger in your company data, which is open at that point. Once this is done, you can now start doing the connected banking activities. So I had spoken about getting your balance, getting your statement, right? Let's look at that in action now. So simply from the top menu, exchange, press get balance, and here you can see there is Axis and Kotak, right? So what happens, right, when someone says Axis, how much balance you have, Kotak, how much balance do you have? You'll go to both the bank accounts separately and you'll get it, right? But with TallyPrime, you can just select all your bank accounts directly and press get balance in one shot. For all your accounts, you'll get the balance, right? So my available balance as per bank was, I didn't have anything, now I have that, right? And from here, you can also drill down and see all other balances which you have, which you see typically on your bank portal, right? So you can see that as well. And where does balance help, right? So one is obviously knowing, okay, bank balance is giving you how much cash you have, right, currently. But where it becomes helpful is when you're actually doing some activity, right? So it may be, you may be doing a bank reconciliation. So at that point, you want to know what is the state of my cash, right? Cash position. So simply you can go into your bank reconciliation summary and you can enable from F12 configure show available balance as per bank, and you'll see here at the top left corner this of the screen, this is visible and with the timestamp. If you want to refresh it at that point, you can simply go into Alt Z Exchange and press get balance again. So it will do that. It will update that as well at real time. And similarly, if you are sending out payments, right? So let's say if you're there and if you're sending out payments, currently I don't have any pending payment transactions, but even in the send payment report, you'll be able to see. So this helps you decide that, okay, if I have transactions, you see some transactions, available balance as per bank, can I actually export and create a payment file right now? Should I do it right now or should I do it for later, right? So this real-time bank balance helps you with such decisions also. Right. Now that we've seen balance fetch, let's see statement fetch. So same from the Alt Z Exchange menu, under all banking options, you can press get statement, and here you can see again the connected banks. You can set the statement period. So in this case, I will set it as 1/4/25 to, let's say, 9/4/25, right? And then I will press get statement. So a statement is now a request is sent to the bank, and with this you will be able to sometimes what may happen is if your request is for a lot more data, right, it may take some time for the bank to process that request. So at that time, under the status that you see for this request, it will show as pending at bank. And whenever you want to refresh it, you can simply take that line and then press refresh again, right? This S get statement refresh, it will update whether it has become ready to import or not. And once it's ready to import, when you press this button again, so the action is always the same, right? When you press that, you will finally be able to import your bank statement entries for the requested date. So it's as easy as just putting in the date and pressing get statement. That's it. Once that is done, the experience is the same whether it is an online statement import via connected banking or whether you're importing a bank statement directly from uh, your bank statement file, right? Excel, CSV, those formats. And from here, when you press S, bank reconciliation summary, you'll be again directed to your reconciliation summary where you can review all your transactions. If you already have transactions in your books, it will help you with reconciliation. If you have no transactions, like in this case, you can simply create vouchers like we saw earlier. So that's how easy it becomes with connected banking, because the entire access to your banking data becomes very easy, and also all your banking data and your accounting data is in one place, which is TallyPrime, right? That's how the solution becomes very powerful. Okay, so that brings me towards the end of whatever I had to show and the questions I had taken. Before we close, we'll just take a few more questions. And yeah.
Yeah, one question. Is there any login time limit for connected banking?
So there is basically there is no login time limit per se. If there is a if you are trying to log in to are you mentioning the login time limit for connected banking login, the one which is here, or is it
Yes,
to
yes.
connect to bank? Okay, great. Yeah, so good question actually. So to make this entire solution secure, right, we have a session which is created. So right now I have logged into connected banking and I'm doing all these connected banking activities, right? So this is going to be valid for 15 minutes of uh, while I'm active. If I now what will happen is you will move away from Tally, you'll do some other things, then you'll again come back to Tally. So if there is any inactivity detected, right, and then once you try and do another connected banking activity, let's say you do want to get balance again, so at that point you will be asked for uh, a password. Okay, so this is a session based concept. So 15 minutes of inactivity will require you to enter the password again. But this does not mean that you need to connect to your bank account again. Your bank account is already connected on Tally, and in the bank connections report that you're seeing, right, I'll just open that. You'll see that once you have connected, your bank account connection will be valid till a certain date. So for both Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank, once the day you have connected, from then 30 days the connection will be valid. But the session when you are using any connected banking activity on Tally, it is active. It is the session you'll be able to use for 15 minutes as long as you are active. If you become inactive, then you'll need to put in the password again. And after 24 hours, anyway, you will need to enter the password and the OTP also again. So this entire thing is to ensure that your entire experience is safe, secure, and there is no misuse of your bank credentials, right? Because you're already logged into Tally, you're already connected your bank account. Now, if you want, if you don't, if you leave your system unattended, right? Ideally, there should be a credential which needs to be entered before you can do any such activities. Hope this answers.
Yeah, very much. There is one more question. Can you please show us one bank entry posting with ledger creation?
One bank entry posting with ledger creation. Sure, I'll do that. And in fact, what I'll also do is I'll configure that particular the configuration which I was showing, right? So let's say I will go to Kotak, right? Because I know why this question has come, because people want to see contra entries, right? So let's alter and let's set alter auto configuration, and from here you'll see use a different voucher type for interbank or cash transactions, right? And when I press this as yes, I can specify this as contra, journal, or any other thing I want, right? And once I accept this, now let's take a particular transaction. So let's go into banking. I did this for Kotak. So let's go into Kotak, unreconciled transactions. Let's assume that one of these transactions is for a particular bank, right? My particular bank ledger. So let's take this only, where I am currently, and actually let's take two because I want to show you the multi-voucher creation aspect. So when I create this, in this case, let me put as Kotak Bank itself. And when I do that, you see the voucher type, it has become contra, right? And when I put it here as G square or square, will remain as receipt, right? So now this is based on a cash or bank ledger. So that's how easy it is. You have been able to do that, and now you can mark as regular and reconcile. Okay, so any other questions?
Yeah, no more questions, really. No, yeah, sorry, there is one question now just posted. Okay, while importing a bank statement, can we transfer transactions to suspense if we don't know the transaction details? Give example.
Yes, you can do that. So if you have a suspense account ledger, if you've done that, and if you want to follow that, although it's not required, if you want to do that, you can still continue to do that. What you can do is you can, again, let's show you in this case, I imported my transactions for Kotak, for Axis, right? So let's say I select some transactions and I again go into create multi-voucher. And let's say I want to mark everything to suspense, right? I can do that also by going into common ledger. And let's say in this case, I do not have suspense. So this I think helps me show you another feature. So let's say I don't have suspense account currently. So I can create that suspense account, right? Okay. And accept. So now you'll see everything is marked to suspense account. And I can accept this. Regular, reconcile and accept, yes, and those transactions are now marked as suspense. So what will happen is now when you go into your suspense account ledger, right, you can always from there you can take all the transactions and you can change the ledger. If you want, you can also do another, as an accounting practice, you may want to just also do something like, let's say if you're trying to create transactions, again let's do suspense account. There's another way of handling this, and here at the next step, instead of marking them as regular and reconciling, you just continue to keep it as optional vouchers. Okay, so what will happen is you will press escape, okay, and then you can always review by going into the optional vouchers bank data report, or anyway in this particular report itself you'll be able to see. So which means that when you're going into, if you want to see that same screen which I just showed you, right, if you want that, you go into change view and go into, one second, sorry, you go into exception reports and you go into optional vouchers bank data, and you'll see the same report again, slightly bigger format, but it's exactly that. And then again, if you want to change, you can do that. However, again, like I suggested, the workflow is new, and I know usually the practice has been that you will uh, create a bank statement from some file that you've got from your client or something, right? And now you are making changes. Now you don't know whether it's suspense. Earlier, since this facility was not there to have the bank transactions in Tally, you were importing it and then marking it to suspense. But now with this particular facility, right, what happens is that you are already imported all your bank transactions. So there is no need to specifically create a suspense account. But if your practice is to do that, you can still continue to do that, how I just showed you. And later on, you can go into the optional vouchers report. If you're following the approach 2, you can go into the optional vouchers report from the exceptions report, and then you can mark them as regular and reconcile by altering the entries. Although alteration is usually not recommended, right?
Yeah, there is one more
Okay,
question.
so with that said, I just want to I think we can wrap up, right? And before wrapping up, I would like to just share a few things. So if you're not on release 6.0 already, I urge you to start using it, start trying out how TallyPrime 6.0 works, how the new banking features work. We have the help and articles and the videos on help.tallysolutions/banking. What we have also done is we have created a quick start guide for you all. So when you go into this particular link, help.tallysolutions, I'll just show you. Directly, you will be shown this page where you can see the quick start guide, right? So you can click this and it will show you a quick start guide of how to use all of this. So you can, if you click this, you'll be able to see directly the video as well as any detailed explanation how to create vouchers from bank statement. All of this is very in detail, it's covered. So I recommend watching these videos. And similarly, we have done this for all the other features as well. And any specific things like any important tips that are there, we have covered it in this quick start guide. So I urge you all to go to this link, and Shankar sir, maybe you can post it in the chat for everyone. The link for Tally Help banking, right? help.tallysolutions.com/banking, right? And you'll be able to see what are all the different capabilities and how to use them. In just a few minutes, you'll be able to do this. And towards the end, you'll also see that there is a playlist, right? If you click this playlist, you'll be redirected to YouTube, where all the 4 features in detail we have covered in. And it's not much, it's just about 6 minutes to, I think the reconciliation is the biggest one, but just under 10 minutes mostly you'll be able to cover all the sessions. So less than 20 minutes you'll be able to cover all the main scenarios. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate everyone taking their time for today's webinar. Shankar sir, if there's anything else you can possibly cover, or we can end the webinar now.
No, that's it, Murli. So no more questions, so we can end this session. So thank you all for joining these sessions. Hope it was very informative. Yeah, we can end it, Murli. Thank you.